Brittany from Math with Minis. It is so good to have you here. If you're new to me, then I help upper elementary teachers develop skills in their students for mental math, including but not limited to math hack fluency. Today's video, I'm going to show you how you can assign assignments made or bought or downloaded in Jamboard into your Google Classroom. I'm also going to be sharing some ideas of ways you can use these Jamboards. Even if you don't use mine, if you create your own, I'm just going to give you some tips for using them so you can get the most out of what you make and assign. If you're still pretty new to Jamboard, I actually have another video that walks you through all of the tools Jamboard has and how to use it and kind of how to make your own. You can check that out on my channel as well. And I also walk you through that resource specifically if you maybe want to buy it. You already know you want to buy the Jamboard. You know your students need the math fact practice. I will link that down in the description below. You can just go on TeachersPayTeachers and grab it. And I don't just have it for 2s, I have it for 1s, 3s, 5s, the whole times table. Okay, so for this tutorial, I've created a Google Classroom for all upcoming tutorials. So note that this isn't an actual class with students, so mine might look a little bit different from yours since I'm doing this with my TPT seller account versus a school account. The gist of it and the layout should be pretty much the same. The first step, of course, is going to be to either create or download a Jamboard. So on this other tab, or you could even just go to jamboard.google.com, and that should take you to all the Jamboards that you've either downloaded and bought on Teachers Pay Teachers or that you've made yourself. So let's go ahead and use this one as an example. This is for the 2s times table. I usually set them up, at least in my store, as easy, medium, hard, and very hard. And I just do that by 0, 1, 2s as the easiest. 2, 3, 4 as the, or sometimes 2, 3, 4 or 3, 4, 5 for the medium. And then the hard one has 6s in there, and the very hard is like 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s. So I try to break it up like that, and I really recommend that you do that anyway with math facts instruction, or really with anything, to break it up into as many small chunks as possible. It makes it easier for the students to have success, which motivates them to keep going, and it's just easier for them to chunk it up and remember it. So this is an example of an activity. So I made this in PowerPoint, and then I set it as a background. So if you're going to make your own, I would suggest making it in PowerPoint so that way you can make it really crisp and clear, use any custom fonts or clip art that you have, and then once you're ready, you would just go and click Set Background, select an image, and then you would just pick the image you want to have. But I'm not going to do that right now, so we're going to close out. So I'm assuming that most of you, though, will not want to make your own, that you'll want to buy them. So this is where all of them will live. So say I wanted to attach this to an assignment in Google Classroom. There's a few different ways I could do that. I could either add it in from my Google Drive, or I could share a link. So we'll actually do both so you can see how to do it. So from the Jamboard here, I'm going to click on Share. Okay. And I'm gonna make sure that it's anyone, that it's not just the district I'm using. Okay. And we're gonna go to Editor, and we're going to click copy link. Now, a note here, kind of like Google Classroom stuff in general, if you do editor and you just share the link, like watch when I put the link on here. So let's go to classwork tab, let's click on create assignment, and then this is the link button. So if I click add link and I paste or do a Control V the link into there, if it says edit here in the link, all of the students are going to be editing the same document. Now, you might want for them to do this if you're doing something collaboratively as a class, and you can kind of help them work together that way. They usually like to see all little tiles moving. It's fun for them. But if you want for each of them to do their own, then you need to change that edit to copy. This is why I usually don't recommend adding a link if you're assigning something in Google Classroom, but it is one option. And so adding that as a link with changing edit to copy will allow for them to each have their own individual copy, and then they won't be all editing the same one. Also edit from Google Drive. So if we click on this little triangle right here, we click on that, it'll automatically bring up any recent files you have. So since I was working on this one, I'm going to click on that and click Insert. And I do recommend that's the best way to do it, because you'll see what they're saying here, right? You either want students to all view the single file, all edit the same single file, which was what I was just talking about, or to have their own copy. So for that, I would click on this little drop-down menu and click Make a Copy for each student. This is the way that I recommend you assign Jamboards. Now, I understand sometimes with the way that schools and districts are set up in Google Classroom, students have a really hard time accessing it this way, or they might have some kind of like tech problems accessing it, right? So you can do the copy link version, but I highly recommend that you don't. I just wanted to show you because I've heard some teachers kind of have some confusion about that before and I wanted to clear it up. But this is the way I recommend, is selecting from Google Drive and clicking make a copy for each student. Now, if you want to have a collaborative document, maybe you want to do some modeling and then have them come in and do a few problems together. Or maybe if you're even doing breakout rooms and you're having them do some work together in small virtual groups, you can do the same thing. Well, it's already attached, so it won't let me attach it again. But then I could just click instead, students can edit the file so they can all edit the same one. Or if you're doing one separate file for modeling, you could do view the file. So they could just click it and look at it, but then you're the only one with editing rights. So that's basically what those three options mean, and I highly recommend adding it as from the Google Drive whenever you're assigning it. I'm sure by now you already have a ton of experience with Google Classroom, but just in case you don't, I already put a title and instructions in. This is probably not what I would actually say to students, but that's what I would do. And they've added formatting options, which is nice. You can assign amount of points. You can assign a due date if you want. I usually don't do hard due dates for practice because it's more so for me to just see how they're doing, but I understand for data you might need to. And then topics. So if you just want your information in the Google Classroom classwork tab to be organized by topic, you might have math fact practice as one, you might have ELA as another, and etc. And then a rubric if you want to, but you really don't need to do that because at least with my resources, if you buy this one or any of the ones in my store, I have an answer key, so you can just grade it that way. Once you have it the way you want it, you just go to assign, and then you should see it pop up in the classroom or classwork tab. So let's see if it does that. And yep, there is the assignment. Good to go. I'm going to walk you through how this specific assignment actually works, just so you kind of know what to expect if you do decide to purchase this resource. And by the way, the 2s aren't the only ones I have. I also have 1s, 3s, 5s, whatever your student needs. If they need help with a specific times table, then they can buy individual ones in my store. Or if they need help with more than one, you can check out the bundles because you save a little bit of money if you buy multiple together, especially if you buy during a site-wide sale. That's pretty much it as far as assigning a Jamboard into Google Classroom. If you're still brand new to Jamboard, like I mentioned in the intro, you can actually check out my video that walks you through how to use Jamboard, how to create things in Jamboard, and how to use all those little tools that you see on the left-hand toolbar. If you're like, no, Brittany, I cannot learn a new thing. I am so done with that. I totally get it. I have some links to resources down in the description below, and they're the exact resources that you just saw me model in this video and that I walk you through in the Jamboard creation tutorial as well. If we're not already connected on Instagram, I'd love to see you over there at Math with Minis. You can find me there, then send me a message to say hi. And of course, if you have any questions, you can either ask me on Instagram or you can just drop them in the comments below. I will respond to every comment, and I want to help you because I know that when teachers help each other, we can help our students as well. I will see you next time. If you haven't already, of course, I would absolutely love it if you would like this video, subscribe to my channel, and click the little bell so that you never miss notification of a new post.